Hello and welcome back to video 4 in the beginner series. So today in our sequence we are going to be challenging our balance a little bit more today. So I'll incorporate some poses that will help with that. And then again, if you do like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. So let's begin. Okay, so today we are going to start once again in child's pose. Really simple, really great pose. So you're gonna sit back on your heels and you're just gonna kind of stretch out on your mat, bringing your arms out in front of you, bringing your forehead to the mat. You can open up your hips as wide as you would like. The wider you go, the more hip stretch you get. So we are going to breathe in this pose for several breaths. Breathe at your own breathing pattern as you inhale and you exhale. And feel as all the tension releases from your body. You're getting ready for a nice yoga flow. Make sure your shoulders are not tense and they're away from your ears. And a couple more breaths. And slowly begin to rise into tabletop position. We're going to come up with our wrists stacked under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. We are going to flow through cat and cow. So remember to inhale on your cows, bringing your head up towards the sky, bringing your belly down to the mat, and exhale as you come up into cows, lifting and rounding your back towards the sky, tucking your tailbone. Inhale and exhale. Flow through the sequence at your own pace. No need to rush. And a couple more breaths. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And then slowly return back to neutral and tabletop position. We are going to come up into balancing tabletop. So you're going to lift your right arm up in front of you and then your left leg back. And then to kind of like challenge your balance a little bit, we're doing this for a warm-up. So slowly lift your arm and your back leg up, flex your foot on your left leg, and then remember to breathe in this pose. You may tuck your toes on your right leg for additional assistance if the balance is new to you. And a few more breaths. And slowly release, bring your arm and your leg back down. We're going to repeat on the opposite side. So you're going to lift your right arm up in front of you this time and your right leg back. Remember to flex your foot. Inhale and exhale as you lift. Make sure your right arm shoulder is strong and it's not collapsing on you as it's supporting your weight. And a couple more breaths. And release. Nice. So we're going to tuck our toes. We're going to come into our toe squat as we did in our previous videos to kind of stretch out our feet. So slowly come up and sit back onto your heels. Open up your shoulders, move your shoulders. Open up your chest and move your shoulders away from your ears. And you're gonna take your arms and you're gonna clasp your hands behind your back and extend, opening up your chest even more. You may gaze up towards the sky. And inhale and exhale. Feel your chest open. Feel that nice breeze on your skin. And slowly release, bringing your arms down and in front of you. Come back to tabletop position. We're gonna come up into downward facing dog. So you're gonna tuck your toes once again and lift your hips up towards the sky, pressing into your palms of your hands, kind of opening up to the sides so they're kind of facing the corners of the mat. Your hips are formed at a TP, the highest point in this pose. Your back is straight and not arched. And you may walk out your calves, feeling a nice stretch. As you do so, you can squat here for extra stretching. You may do a body wave. And then walk out. And then step, walk, or jump to come into standing forward fold. I'm just gonna walk to the front of the mat in between my hands and then stay folded. Remember, tucking your pelvis, your core is tucked in, and kind of start to grab onto your ankles. If that's too much, you can wrap around your wrists, your calves, your toes. You can touch the mat. You can fist the mat for a release of any wrist pressure that you have. And remember to round your upper back. Your lower back stays straight. And then we're going to come into halfway lifts. You're going to inhale. As you lift up, your back is straight. And then your hands are placed on your shins. And then you're going to exhale as you fold back into a forward fold. Remember, tuck your core and grab your ankles, your shins, or anywhere that is comfortable for you. And then we're going to inhale as we come up into mountain pose. So bring your arms up as you inhale. And bring your arms up into namaste and slowly bring them down to heart center. And then we're going to swan dive back into standing forward fold. So inhale and swan dive into a forward fold. And then we're going to place our hands on the mat. We're going to come up into a plank. And we're going to flow through our chaturanga. So kind of push forward. Lower yourself. Your elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle. And flip your feet to come into an upward facing dog. Again, you may modify. If this is too much for you, you can lay all the way down on the mat, move up into cobra, and then flip your feet into downward facing dog. And then walk out your calves again. Maybe they feel a little less pressure now. And breathe. From here, we're going to come into a three-legged downward facing dog. You're going to lift your right leg up. So lift your right leg up behind you. You may feel a lot more stretch in your calves since you are supporting all of your weight on one leg this time. Make sure you're staying straight. You're not tipping over in this pose. Bend your leg for that additional hip stretch. So it's a stacked three-legged dog. And then stretch it out again, and we're gonna bring it through under our body and between our hands into a low lunge. So lower your left knee on the mat. And then inhale for crescent low lunge. Feel that nice stretch in your left hip and your hamstring. And slowly exhale, come back down. You're gonna bring your hips back behind you, kind of shifting into a half split. You're gonna feel this nice stretch in your hamstrings, so you may flex and extend your foot. Remember, as you exhale, you're kind of stretching into that deeper stretch, and then inhale as you lift, kind of moving forward, and then again exhale as you feel that stretch going deeper. So do this at your own pace, whether your foot is flexed or extended, feeling that nice stretch. And then begin to shift forward again, bending your right knee. We're gonna come up into a runner's lunge, so lift and tuck your toes. Inhale, we're gonna come into crescent lunge. And then turn your left leg opening up. We're gonna come into warrior two, so your leg is gonna kind of shift and open up, facing your left side this time, and then bend your knee at a 90-degree angle. It's not collapsing inward, it is rotating a little bit slightly outward to support your pose. So your legs are kind of in one line, your heel is aligned. And then gaze forward past your fingertips. And challenge yourself, maybe bend your knee a little bit more each time with each and each breath. And then from here, we're gonna rotate our left foot to open up. We're gonna come into goddess pose. So you're gonna have both of your knees bent this time, and you're facing the long side of your mat. And then bring your hands to namaste. And again, challenge yourself with each exhale. Come down a little bit more into your squat. And then slowly rise up. We're gonna come into a wide-legged forward fold. So hinge at your hips, maintaining a flat back. You're gonna hinge forward for that nice stretch in your hamstrings. If this is too much for you, you can definitely have blocks to accommodate your pose to assist you while you gain more flexibility in your legs. You can have your hands on your shins, on your ankles, anywhere that is accessible for you at this time. Again, you will gain flexibility as you keep practicing. And then you're going to slowly shift with your hands, beginning to bend your right knee. We're going to come into Skandasana. So you're going to end up with your left leg straight. Your foot may be flat, but however, if at this time it is not accessible for you, you can stay on your tippy toes, maintaining your balance and helping with your hands. And then if you are able to have your full flat foot on the ground, just bring your hands to namaste. And then from here, we're gonna lower our hands and bring them next to our right foot and start to rotate back again to the short side of the mat, keeping your knee bent. You're gonna start to straighten both of your legs to come into pyramid pose. So this may be an intense stretch for your hamstrings. So you're kind of doing a forward fold on your front leg into to pyramid. You can place your hands, depending on your flexibility and what you're working on. You may place your hands on your shins. You may use blocks for support on either side, or you may place it on the mat. You may fist the floor as well. And then from here, you're going to use support with your hand and move your back leg next to each other to the top of your mat. We're gonna inhale as we come into chair pose. And then from here, we are going to slowly lift. We're slowly gonna put pressure and our weight onto our right leg, and we're gonna come into warrior 3. So this is really going to challenge our balance. So you're going to hinge forward at your hips as you bring your left leg back and your arms out in front of you. So your arms and your leg is gonna be parallel with the mat. So let's begin. So from chair, you're slowly hinging forward. You can squat too. This may alleviate any pressure. You can bring your arms down to kind of practice your alignment with your back leg. You can also, from here, you can just kind of hinge forward. Make sure you don't put a lot of your weight on your lower back. You don't want to injure it. So again, from chair, you're just going to slowly come down. And release, bring your knee up in front of you. This is an additional balance challenge. And release back to mountain pose. Inhale. Ooh. And bring your hands to heart center. And open up. Now we will repeat on the opposite side. So we're going to start with our flow and move through the sequence again, making sure we do everything on our opposite side. So you're going to inhale and swan dive into standing forward fold, bringing your hands down by your legs, by your feet. Make sure your core is tucked in and you're rounding your upper back as you try to fold as much as you can. And then we're going to step back into plank and flow through our chaturanga. So shift forward on your tippy toes, come down, flip your feet into an upward facing dog. Maybe you can gaze up towards the sky for that additional stretch, and then flip your feet into a downward facing dog. Stretch out your calves. Maybe now you're feeling a little bit more flexible in your feet after we did that little flow. Take a couple of breaths here in this pose to reset yourself. Maybe do like a little squat again. And then we're gonna come up into a three-legged dog. So you're gonna lift your left leg up towards the sky for your three-legged dog. Remember, keep your shoulders still straight. You may feel a little bit more pressure on your calves since your weight is all in your one leg. And bend your knee for a stacked three-legged dog for that additional hip stretch. And extend, and then bring your leg through underneath you in between your hands. Until low lunge, bring your right knee down to the mat. And you're going to inhale as you lift your arms for a crescent low lunge. And then from here, you're gonna exhale. As you lower down, you're gonna shift your hips back towards your heels into a half split. So you're gonna hunch over and you're gonna forward fold on your top leg and then flex and extend and then feel a nice stretch. Remember to breathe. Exhale to deepen your stretch and inhale as you kind of move a little bit forward on your stretch, flowing at your own pace. And then from here, you're gonna slowly begin to bend your left knee. We're gonna come up into a runner's lunge here, so your hands are still by your foot, kind of hovering over. And then you're going to inhale and lift your arms up towards the sky for a crescent lunge. Inhale. And then from here, you're gonna open up your right foot, turn it towards the long side of the mat into warrior two pose. So again, you kind of opened up and then you're facing the long side of your mat this time, facing towards your right side. Your left knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. You may need to adjust your stance. So from here, we are going to open up our right foot, turn it so both of your knees are bent this time in goddess pose. So bring your hands to namaste. I am going to turn around so you guys can see me as I demonstrate the other side. So your namaste. Just remember to breathe, inhale and exhale in this pose. Maybe deepen your knee bend, coming into a lower squat with each breath and each exhale. And then start to straighten your legs, kind of maybe turn your feet a little bit. We're gonna come into a wide-legged forward fold once again. Straighten your back and begin to lower yourself towards the mat. Once again, you can use blocks for assistance here. You can lower yourself and keep your back. Maintain, like, straighten your back. You can hold on to your shins, your ankles, your knees, your toes, however you feel comfortable so far in your flexibility. And breathe here for a few breaths. And then slowly with your hands, walk over to your left side this time. And start bending your knee, coming into Skandasana. So your right leg is going to come, rotate a little bit upward. So your knee is facing towards the sky, your toes are also facing towards the sky. It's straight out by your side and you're in Skandasana in this pose. If this is too much to be flat on your foot on the mat, you can stay on your tippy toes, so you may be a little bit adjusted. Maybe your leg is not so far back. You can also have like a block for assistance. You can fist the mat. Your hands can definitely assist you in this pose. If you can maintain full flatness or on your toes, bring your hands to namaste so your elbows kind of where the side of your knee is, so it's kind of helping you stretch out your hip a little bit. Make sure your back remains straight. And then from here, bring your hands down by the side of your left foot. With your fingers pointing towards the short side of the mat, you're going to begin to rotate. And as you do so, your left knee will still be bent. So you're kind of coming into a runner's lunge, and then you're adjusting yourself. We're gonna come up into pyramid pose. So you're gonna kind of hop a little bit with your back leg, straighten both of your legs, both of your toes are facing the short side of the mat out in front of you. And then from here, you are in pyramid pose. Again, you can use blocks for assistance if the stretch is too much. You can have a little bit of a bend in your knee if you feel like it's too much on your hamstrings too. You can have your hands on your shins. So anywhere where it's accessible for you at this time. And then from here, you're gonna slowly bend your left knee as it helps you kind of move your back leg towards the front of the mat so they're next to each other. We're kind of in a forward fold now in this pose. So you're gonna shift your hips down. We're gonna come into chair. So inhale as you kind of graze with your fingertips on your mat, and inhale as you sit down in chair. So you're kind of in a little squat. Again, maybe you're deepening your squat with each exhale. And then from here, we're gonna come into warrior three. So you're gonna shift all of your weight to your left leg this time. And you're going to extend your right leg behind you and both of your hands out in front of you. So your arms and your leg are parallel to the mat. So from here, shift and slowly extend. And slowly release. Bring your leg through, don't put it down on the ground. Lift your knee. Keeping your arms up, pointing towards the sky for that additional balance. And release, bring it down. Bring your arms through heart center. We're gonna inhale for mountain. And then we're gonna open up our hands, and then one last time we're gonna swan dive to standing forward fold. Hinging at your hips, rounding your upper back. And this time we're just gonna step back into downward dog for that one last stretch before we come down to the mat. So you're in downward facing dog. One last time, stretch out your calves. Maybe now you're feeling really flexible with all that calf and hamstring stretch that we just did in our poses. And slowly shift, bringing your knees down towards the mat, tucking your toes and coming down. So you are in thunderbolt pose. And then from here, you're going to shift and sit down on your mat. We're going to do a sitting forward fold this time. So you're going to inhale and exhale as you fold at your hips down towards your legs. You may keep your knees bent if the stretch is too much. You may kind of bend at your hips down to your shins, placing your hands on your shins, on your ankles, down by the mat, whatever is accessible and comfortable for you at this time. Just keep on working on that flexibility, and you're definitely going to be there soon. Touching your toes, touching your feet. Inhale as you come up, and slowly from here, vertebrae by vertebrae, begin to lower yourself back down on the mat. We're gonna come into our final stretches here. So you're gonna bring both of your knees to your chest and slowly massage your back out. Rock from side to side. You're almost done. You're almost done and ready to go about your day after this wonderful yoga flow. From here, I want you to reach and start to kind of lower your knees towards your armpits, bringing your feet up towards the sky. Grab onto your inside or your outside soles for happy baby. So you're gonna start to lower, like pressing into so kind of like pushing your legs down, your hips into your armpit. So you're pressing your knees into your armpit, feeling that nice stretch. And again, if this stretch is too much for you, you can release one of your legs, extend it out, and you can have half happy baby with one knee. So like working one leg at a time until you get there. And then slowly release, bring your knees back again to your chest. You're going to lift your head and bring your forehead to meet your knees. Going to lift your forehead to meet your knees, kind of wrap around your shins and rock from side to side. And slowly release, placing your feet down on the mat and opening completely up into Shavasana. So in this pose, this is your time. You can meditate to release any tension that you have in your body. Inhale and exhale, returning to your normal breathing pattern. I'm so happy you had a chance to join me on the mat here for video 4 in our beginner series. You can definitely jump forward, jump back a few videos. You're totally welcome to do so. You're just building on to the yoga sequence. So thank you for joining me, and I really hope to see you back again on the mat with me. Namaste.